Welcome back once again, my friends, to another session with Uncle Guido. You're a master metaphysician and metal babbler in the masticated mental meanderings of my mind and the universal oneness of all things. Oh, what a crock, huh? Oh boy. Anyway, we're back on All Souls Day, the 11/1 of 2020, when we will begin to reap the harvest of that which we have sown over the last few months, years, decades, millennia, all the way going back to Atlantis. And I keep coming into the densified world where the divisions of left and right, right and wrong, hot and cold, are really colliding once and for all for us to have the lessons of duality pounded home so that we may come to some sort of an amalgam to be able to see both sides of the coin, both wings of the same bird. All aspects of the perceptible reality in which some cling to the notion of truth as an infallible, ironclad reality, when in reality there's 7 billion receptors of the aspect of God here in physicality, interpolating the events, making choices through free will, and reporting back to the whole as an aspect of the growth and evolution of the whole. We came into this third density very, very deeply, very heavily, cementing our fate with the advent of iron and steel and metals and very dense vibrating materials that hold us apart from the higher fairy etheric realms. We come here now at this point when we should be turning a corner and moving into the more beautiful times, emerging out of a Kali Yuga, a period of very dense darkness. And so everything in our systems that we have built to get by and make life easier, and we've done a really good job playing with matter at the rudimentary levels, building this, building that, putting things together, being able to feed ourselves. But as a byproduct of that, we as a human species have forgotten how to do most of the basic things that are in third dimension necessities for life. We forgot how to hunt and trap and prepare and grow and take care of our own food supplies. We've turned a blind eye to corporate farming, which is just a real abomination that puts negative vibrations of these poor animals into your body. A lot of us, to change gears here a little bit, a lot of us are feeling the need to change our diets and go in a different way. Some heading in a lighter, more vegetarian, fruitarian way. And I would say this is a symptom, a precursor to your own vibration lightening up. And at one point we will shed the mortal dense coil and be able to operate in a higher vibratory plane in which thought is more readily manifested, in which the ability to relocate in another portion of the planet, to begin to manifest the basic needs of physicality, are all going to come into play. But there are forces out there right now trying to hold us in subjugation, and we've been in this subjugation for thousands upon thousands of years, ever since the sinking of Atlantis some 22,000 years ago. Now it's time to graduate and to come to a new way, and I've been here for months trying to help you to link the two hemispheres of your brain, to operate in synchronistic harmony, to open the third eye so that you can begin to see a larger bandwidth of this reality spectrum that is around you. Now, we're at this huge point in time in which it's come down to the politics of things. Which team is right? Which of our brothers have backed the winning team? How important is it for us to hate our adversaries so intensely that our team is right and right is might and all of this stuff? It's coming down. I got 2 more days before a massive event in the cosmos that, when we look at the astrology lining up right now with Pluto and stuff, as I've said before, matches the times of the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. And all of these notions have been bandied about on the media. Now let me get this straight. The media is the tool of control. It is owned and operated by the corporatocracy that owns and operates both parties of both houses of both all governments around the world, and they've been training you how to think, and they've created an educational system that rewards you on your ability to regurgitate the facts and to fall in line and to assimilate into the way things are accepted, believed. Belief, a mind is a terrible thing to have. Boy, if you could just have a clean slate and approach every instance with the ability to not have all of these things pulling at your perceptions because of your beliefs, you would be in a whole different boat. If you could look at one another, left, right, Muslim, Jew, whatever, and realize we all love our children. We all want clean water to drink. We all want food in our bellies. And these are the basic needs that all humans share. And when you get down to it, when a hungry man knocks at the door, we all bring them in and feed them, you know? And it is just those that seek the power and to rule the rest, the herds, the masses, that have taken hold a long time ago under a male-dominated paradigm and subjugated into us with the old now, the way it was, the status quo, the good old boys club, the robber barons. You know these stories, you know, the Standard Oils, the Knights Templar, you know all these stories. I don't have to go over this. So just remember, in the midst of all these struggles that bring you down, that lower your vibration and bring you into this density so you can feel the conflict, so you can be in it, you can get emotionally involved, and you can really learn something hard and deep and painful and real. You are deep down in the 3rd dimension. So we're going to suspend my goal of lifting you up into 4th and 5th dimensional consciousness for a little while and take a look at what the cards are saying for us around this here election coming up. We have I've looked at many decks, and I'm wondering what is the appropriate message that I could bring to my friends that have watched Uncle Guido. Not too many of you out there, but spread the word. We'll get it out there, okay? Yeah. Anyway. The funny thing that I keep seeing over and over, no matter how gloom and doom and scary and death counts in the millions and the need to mask or the right to be free of the mask or whatever these questions are, there's a golden opportunity that always emerges out of these readings. Yes, there are demons. Yes, there are catastrophes. Yes, there are plagues, and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are riding. Yes, this is all about us, but there is this opportunity, this silver lining, this rainbow at the end of the flood, really showing the opportunity to emerge from this victorious and to move in a new direction. But you're not going to solve the problem with the people who created the problem. You're not going to look to the status quo to give you what you need. We're walking around just like these guys on my t-shirt. I see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And the look what's going on. The masks, the I don't want to hear it. And then if I speak it wrongly, I'm going to be censored. This stuff's all around us. Each one of our institutions that are built around these things, the freedom of the press, crumbling, crumbling. You know, they're just telling their side of the story. They're just backing their man. They're just doing everything they can to get you to believe the way they want you to believe, to support what they want you to support, so they can keep going to the bank on your dime. That's the way this world operates. It's all predicated around money and acquisition and station and power. And the ones who have the power and tremendous, tremendous power and resources have structured this for hundreds and hundreds of years, so that we are now at this nexus point where they're beginning to introduce the artificial intelligence so that the masses can be medicated into their little TV screens, whether they be a big one like this, or a laptop, or a little notebook, or a little telephone pole. Telephone pole, right, yeah. Telephone, you know what I mean. Anyway, more and more, the magic mirror into which you peer has taken control of your consciousness, moved you out of the art of being with one another, out of the art of conversing with one another, of communication. Nah. Anyway, here you are, just mesmerized, locked into it, can't escape. I do it. Spend far too much time on Facebook. Oh, I know. I'm old and I like to jibber jab with my little pally poos out there and twist their niblets and stir their pots and ask them, why the hell do you think that way, my friend? You know, we are not the enemies. The people who follow their leaders, the people who need leaders to lead them to safety, to provide their needs. We are just followers, and it's time to take the reins of your own reality, create your own reality, and give your brother and sister a break. Say, look, I know you have this belief, and I have a different belief, but, you know, deep down, we all love our children. We all want to drink clean water and have a full belly. Nobody wants to go to war except the politicians. They make cash off of that stuff. They make cash blowing it up, and they make cash building it back up, and then they put their little bankers in there and tell everybody how it's going to be done and make that interest in the credit cards, and oh boy, every market in the world is sewed up. So we're standing at this point of tremendous alchemy, of tremendous transmutation, of little caterpillars becoming butterflies. Been here for a while, and the infamous they, them from the dark, them from the dark, them from the dark, keep swooping in to give you a 9/11. Fear, 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 fear. Get your old spiraling negatively down. We've got you right where we want you. We got you bickering between one another while we keep going to the bank. Well, we keep printing money out of thin air. How come nobody's ever questioned trillions of dollars out of thin air? Well, shit, I could use that right now. Oh yeah, I know how to spend it. But we'll let my grandkids pay for it, you know? Do you realize that the debt we incurred over World War II, the debt that England owed to America, just got paid off this year in 2020? Can you believe that? Now look at that. That was only a couple $100 billion. Now, what are we going to do with $3.5 trillion? This system is not going to last. It's going to pop like a gigantic bubble. And let me tell you something. I saw the last housing bubble coming, and I got out early. And I got my butt up to Montana. There is another one coming. And certain people seem to think that certain sides will accelerate that process. I don't know. What I keep seeing in the cards here, which we're going to go to in a minute, is an opportunity to find this silver lining, to find a new way, to take care of all those aspects of social life that need addressing, like healthcare and whatnot, and to deal with the corporate things like subsidies and stuff like that, and to preserve the environment and our Earth Mother. These things are all available to us now, but if we keep following the status quo, if we keep blindly following these leaders, these people who have run California forever, these people who create the two-party system, I mean, boy, talk about duality, two-party system. They are both two sides of the same coin, and they are both controlled by the same masters. And you know, I'm starting to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here. I keep going over these same things over and over. But there is a plan. There is the Agenda 21 United Nations plan. Look into that, my friends. There is the Georgia Guidestones and other plans to cull the number of the populace. Look at here, we've got COVID here. Get your mask on, you bad little boys and girls. Get your mask on. This is a pandemic, and we saw that through the cards, that this was created and sprung upon the world. Okay, said that enough. You may believe me or not, I don't care. But what I am seeing here is that things are collapsing all around us, and we are moving into the new millennium. Now, we will either freely march into the new millennium as the creators and masters of our own sovereignty, our own fates, our own realities, or we will get in line 6 feet apart with our masks on and hop to the tune of what the masters tell us what to believe. Oh, you got this virus. Yeah, it's so out there in the open and obvious. And so now, problem, action, solution, we've got the vaccine. Take that. Oops, we spent too much money, so we got to go to a new money system, a digital AI-controlled money dealy-do, you know. Be a good boy, take your shots, we'll give you some dough. You can just count on us for everything you need from here on out. Yes, yes, yes. If you're a good boy, if you're a good girl, we will take care of you. If you do as we say and not as we do, we will take care of you. Oh, you can count on it. Government does things so well. We'll get you one of them $6,000 toilet seats if you need it. Don't you worry. You'll be shitting pretty. Anyway, Uncle Guido goes off. I get off on such tangents. Today is a very strong day of looking at your karma, of what are the stories that keep cycling around and around you. You know, mommy didn't love me. I worked my ass off. You know, whatever your story is, look at it. It keeps repeating itself, and it keeps giving you the opportunity to say, oh, this is what I'm trying to learn here. And, you know, even if you think you've learned it, sometimes it comes back years later, gives you a little flink, and goes, oh, remember me? Yes, I do. So this is what we're here for. This is the game of 3D. We come down in here blind. A veil drops over our consciousness. Our psychic powers are turned off so that we can knock our heads and scuff our feet and go through this thing to enjoy and savor the pleasures and feel the agonies. And within this, our souls are gaining tremendous, tremendous valuable lessons that excel our journey through the cosmos. This planet is like the boot camp where you come down and you really progress. There are souls lined up around the block to get into old Mother Earth right now and be a part of this nexus of change into a higher dimensional being, fourth and fifth dimensional being. And this will probably take a while. Now, all the while, they're trying to roll in AI and through the phone get you addicted to these things and offer you ways of linking your physicality with the computer. They're going to offer you alternate realities. This may or may not be a good thing. You go in there, you might have a blast. But are you the one really controlling it? Or are you just getting lost in it? Remember the movie The Matrix? Is it okay to be in one of those little pods feeding the battery storage towers while you live life down here? Remember they said they tried the utopian one and it got too boring for everybody, so they had to make it a little adversity for you to go down and, are you in a matrix right now? Yes, you probably are, but it's a spiritual matrix, not a mechanical matrix. We're at the point in the burrito wrap coming around to where man on earth is just getting ready to offer the opportunity to go into that mechanical matrix, to link with technology and send our minds into these holographic realms, these make-believe realms. Very, very interesting, isn't it? Well, I used a new deck, and I'm going to hop up here and show you guys the fate of America through this election process. And I'm going to show you basically who I think is going to win day after tomorrow. And I'm telling you, it's still a coin toss. Old Uncle Guido's like, I'm scratching my head. The cards are kind of in favor of both of these guys. So I think it's really up to you to get your poop in a group and get out there and vote. So get your man out there, okay? Doesn't matter who wins. We're all going to be in the same boat still. Yeah, so let me adjust this thing down here. And we have some different cards than what you are used to. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. See those bad boys? I realize I'm at an angle here. There's my coffee. Alright, I'm coming around. We're going to keep on talking about this, okay? So, I did several readings, and the most common theme for this is what this one says right here in the center. Work! There's a lot of hard work ahead of you, people. And I know that all of these are, these Uncle Guido sessions on YouTube here are starting to sound the same. Now look at here. This is very interesting. What we have is as above, so below. As within, so without. And the quintessence of where the future of America is heading. I pulled this card for me. That makes complete sense, doesn't it, huh? And I pulled this card for Biden and this card for Trumpy. And I got to say that Biden's card looks a little better in this reading. In the last reading I did, Trumpy's looked a little better. But neither one of them are that bad. And I got to tell you, I'm not invested in the outcome of this because my reality is not predicated on politicians handing me my happiness or my reality. I just learned how to adapt and work within the reality to keep those lights on and keep my belly fed, which I like to do quite well. Have a brewski or twoski. Anyway, that's Uncle Guido here. So, what can I say about card number 33 here, the Beast? As above. This really tells me that there are some sinister forces that have power. Kind of like a Lucifer thing, the old beast, the demon, the snake. But, you know, you may not believe in that. So it could be just a symbol of something that is the beast, the dragon, bars the path, fearful and malevolent. The characteristics of the dragon represent the challenge of facing up to evil. Now, I'm sure if you're on one side, you think the other side is evil. But it's beyond that. We're in a system that exploits the resources of the planet and exploits the resources of other people and gives those proceeds from those resources to very few, and it doles out the crumbs to the rest. In the meanwhile, the planet suffers, it withers, it's degraded, the water gets dirtier, the air gets fouler, and you get sicker. These are the aspects of the beast, however you define them or label them, left or right, bad or good, Republican or Democrat. And the reason I keep going back to that is because I did throw this reading for the future of America and its, political predicament that we're in right now. So what this is really about is what is the darkness in your unconscious mind? What bad temper, little hostilities and little vitriol, venomous things do you want to allow out? Have you been storing up and have to come out? Now you've got a true foe on which to unleash these things. as above. So, that beast is trying to claim his throne within your reality. Let's come down here to below, so below, down here in the material world, below the moon. This always represents the subconscious, the emotional, the dream time, that which is not clear but is operating constantly, and we only get glimmers of. We don't get the full illumination of what's going on with the moon. So the moon is the feminine symbol and therefore stands for instincts, the maternal and unconscious self. It represents the intuitive understanding and healing process of change. It represents illusion and falsity. The crab represents the toughness of the inner soul, the inner self. So you're tough enough to face this thing, but you've got to go into this emotional place and really sort out all these things that want to be healed. And it is through the feminine, the gentle, nurturing, caressing of the self that we will do the inner work below here on earth. So we're trying to work our inner emotional world, the outside pressings of the world you've been handed, how the rules are telling you got to behave. As within the tower, another toughie card. This is where America is, within. We are trying to look at the symbols of the achievements we've gained in the face of adversity and reflect some things that the arrogant consciousness takes for granted. The mind that has repressed unconsciousness, the mind beneath. See, so all of this emotional stuff, we know we've been exploiting other countries. We know what we've done to the indigenous of the world. We know that burning fossil fuels is not too great for the air, and we've repressed that, and we've lived with that, and we've just accepted it, and we've said, oh well, that's just the way it is. And so this is like a little pressure cooker. So within, we're pressure cooking ourselves to really look at all of these subconscious things that we've been handed, that we've been taught how the game is played, and what we must deal with the consequences now. There's a lot of pride about America, and sometimes pride goes before a fall. This tower, the towers do not last forever. They, as you know in the other decks, the tarot, the tower represents that if you can let go and restructure on the false, then you'll be okay. But if you hold on to your status quo, that lightning bolt comes and really blows things apart. So another, according to this deck, another thing this is repressed sexuality, and look at all the funky Cole Medina things coming out about sex and gender identity and just the weirdness that's out there these days, trying to be touted as new normal. Yeah, you make your own choices about that. I don't care where you stand on it. A lot of times I just don't need to know about it. You know what I mean? You get your freak on in your own way and do what you gotta do. So without the voyage, this is a positive card, boy. I'll tell you, the voyage. This represents becoming a citizen of the world, and I think that's what is being orchestrated. That instead of looking at these pesky little districts and countries and stuff like that, like in the Agenda 21, the guys at the top want to look at the whole world as their little nugget to dole out, to pillage, to make some cash off of. The good old capitalism way of doing things. As these mega globalist companies consolidate down to the 5 or 6 or 7 that are really running just about everything, we, the people, are held in a very slow road of slow rate of economic growth. But this voyage thing, where did it go? Right there. This is the voyage into the inner world. Both these cards keep representing going back within to your inner world to find your truth. There could be new areas of the psyche, and this is what has been repressed through our educational system, is to deny the right brain intuitive artistic self and cling to the logic, the left brain male dominated yin aspect of our thinking that relies on science and the concrete and all of that. And that's why Star Trek was so big with the Vulcans and the logic, suppressing emotions. Well, these emotions are boiling up in places like Portland and stuff like that, and people really don't even know why they decide to go out and join a riot and pillage and burn things to the ground just because they're angry. How infantile. Okay, so anyway, let's go and look at Joe Biden. Looks like their plan is very growth worthy, has roots, looks out for family, and this is the story we're getting from this side. That if you just come with us, all the racial problems will be healed, all the economic problems will be healed because we'll be taxing those with all the dough, and it's still predicated on tradition and protection of the old ways. And I think whether you're left or right, that's the thing you got to do, is you got to really look at the truth here and say, can the people who created these problems really solve these problems? I don't think so. I think the true work is about coming up with a new way. Okay? So that's really positive for Biden there. So is he going to win? Maybe, maybe not. I kind of don't think so, and I'm sticking with that. I think there's going to be a real upset, which could lead to some real revolution. But if we understand our inner things here a little bit, maybe we can restrain ourselves a little bit. Who knows? We're about to find out. It's so exciting. I can hardly wait. It's wonderful to live in interesting times, isn't it? So, old Trumpy, one thing we can say about him, he ain't afraid to stand in front of us naked. Let us see all of his warts and bumps and belly fat. I also have a feeling if he does get elected, his health is going to collapse. And this goes back to an earlier thing. I think either way, Biden or Trump are both in peril. Whoever gets elected in this 0 year of 2020, any years with a zero in it tend to have assassinations linked to their presidents elected in those years. This goes back to a prophecy of Tecumseh, the Indian, after the Mohawks got wiped out in the olden days. So one thing we're really, really going to be looking at with Trump and Biden is the health of the nation, the COVID, and all of that stuff, and how we're going to deal with it. And so this is a card for me. The Fool is back. They're acting like a total knucklehead. That's me, old Uncle Guido. Let's see how the COVID is going to be dealt with Joe Biden. The scales. Ooh, the scales of justice there. They look a little unbalanced in that representation. Let's see how the COVID will be dealt with old Trumpy Poo. The Cave. Woohoo! That's interesting and dark. Wow. So, let's see what old Biden's plan says for the COVID. Oh, let's see here. 24. Moderation, prudence, a sense of balance in our affairs. It represents common sense and a harmony with the world of nature. Well, that doesn't look too bad. We got a couple of trees going for old Joe Biden there. Let's see how Trumpy's going to deal with the COVID here in the cave. The Moon Cave. Hold on, let's see what this says. Okay. The cave. Depression and despair. Symbolizes withdrawal into the self as a result of pain and grief. Can also mean introversion and loneliness. So, I think wave 2 is about to come, and old Trump's going to have to deal with it. I think for some reason, if Biden gets elected, they're going to ease off the COVIDs, and that might fade away, and we'll figure out a nurturing. Could the COVID been a tool implemented to mess with the Trumpster? I wouldn't put it past him. I just wouldn't put it past him. But you know, old Uncle Guido's a conspiratorialist. I wear that big, proud tinfoil hat, and I find it my job to bring these wacky ideas out and let you look at them. Whether you agree or not, it's there. That's an idea. You mull it over. Anyway, so let's look at some other cards here. Got my mother here helping us out. There's me again. Let's see the future for old Uncle Guido and all of this coming past the election and all of that. Let's see what we've got to deal with. All right, people. That's the Ten of Swords. That represents being on the path and not overthinking the path. Because when you overthink the path, you miss the point of being on the path. You've already taken the journey all the way to its conclusion, and you may or may not say, I want to do that. But you have to take one step after another and graduate from one level to another, to refine the journey as you go, to learn from the lessons of the mistake, to refine your thinking, to let go of old, dead, outmoded ways. Let's ask the Voyager if Uncle Guido's on track with today's talk with y'all. And we get the Two of Cups. Okay. If I could impart anything to you, that's a yes, I'm on track. But we need to come together, people. We cannot let this division keep going on within us. We need to step up and claim our own power and love one another and sit down and have coffee and a conversation with our enemies. We need to come to the point within our hearts where we can really, truly look at the choices that are laid out before us and move forward. Let's see, how can we move forward in the midst of this upending election? Well, here's one thing I forgot to emphasize, and that is tune within. Go in and listen to the still, small voice of God within. One thing that seems to be getting swept further and further under the rug is the spirituality of all of this. And I'm not talking evangelicals, and I'm not talking Bible. I'm talking your place in the universe with the force that put you here in this universe. That still small voice within, you can call it God, you can call it Allah, you can call it Buddha, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. But it's there. There's those little angels on each shoulder, the light and the dark one, enticing us to do bad or good. But it's there, and it's time to really begin to listen to those things and take steps. This is a time for action. This is a time for work. This is a time for us knuckling down, rolling up our sleeves, and getting to the business at hand. Our economic world is in great, great peril right now. Our health world is in great, great peril right now. It's really easy to sweep a lot of different aspects under the rug when we need to look at everything in an organic whole. We really need to roll up our sleeves and look at these questions deep down without casting the finger of blame. We do have an incredible mastery of the material world and innovative aspects of life here in this country. And I think part of what we've got to do is take some of Trump's message and bring back manufacturing to this country. Take our resources in our own hands, quit playing world cop, quit getting involved in wars, and really build ourselves up so that we can further contribute to the world in ways beyond war, in ways beyond the usurpation of other people's resources. Now I'm going to give you a final note. Oop, it just fell out right there. Okay, it's time for change. We've been down in the dumps, really going down that negative spiral for a long time. It's time to not focus on the spilt milk of the past and look at our choices ahead and begin to create a new reality. You can't ignore what's deep down inside of you, these moons, these towers, these inner dark places. You can't ignore that. You have to expose the truth and the real, and then move on with the wisdom gleaned from those, and on into the new now, which could end up being abundant and rejoiceful for all. There are positive forces on the other side helping us, and we need to call upon them, our guardian angels, whatever you may believe in, your higher self, and call that into action. Listen to that still small voice and move on in to your own self-created new now. Uncle Guido, your buddy, over and out.